What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing. We're back with another video, and in today's video, guys, me going over the best links for your characters in Grand Cross, and we're going to be discussing pretty much everything you want to know about having links in the game. So let's hop into the video. Before we actually hop into the video, make sure to subscribe to your boy Amazing. We are on the road to the 40,000 subscribers. Your boy Amazing is super close, man. Where I think we're like, what, 1,500 subs away, guys. So definitely make sure to hit that sub button if you haven't already. And with that out of the way, man, in this video, we're going to be going over the best character links you want to be running on your characters so that you guys know what you're doing when building characters for running links. Now, we're going to be discussing pretty much everything you need to know about it as well, which is going to be pretty important for a lot of you guys. Now, we're not really necessarily going to cover characters that have the special association effect, because I feel like it's not something that you really want to be worrying about too much for your characters. It really depends on the character, but for most characters, you're probably not running these special association effect characters unless the stat is very, very important, right? So that's the first thing that I want to mention. So an example would be like, Merlin Link on tier. You can run this, right? Because you do get extra crit chance, right? 19% crit chance could be pretty good, so that's not a bad link on tier. So that's just an example of a special association effect and why it could be good. So there is that. But let's actually talk about the best links possible for your characters, guys. Now, before we get to that, we have to talk about characters and their dupe levels. So the first thing we're going to do when actually picking a character right here is we're going to make sure that we can see their ultimate move level, right? The reason why we want to see that is because depending on the dupe level of the character, you're going to be getting more stats from the link. So as an example here, my Mikasa is 2 out of 6, so she's only going to be giving a 6% associated hero basic stats increase, right? If we look at a character like my SR Aaron here, which is 6 out of 6, he's going to be giving 10% hero associated basic stats, right? And the thing is too, with a 6 out of 6 character versus a 1 out of 6, these stats are pretty much like, I think you actually get a lot more than double actually, which is a little insane. Because if you look at like a 1 out of 6 character, the amount of stats that you're going to be getting is pretty substantial, even though you can see the base effect of the stats is not like too crazy in terms of Mikasa versus this Aaron. You can see the Mikasa has more HP, but you're actually going to be getting more HP from the Aaron based on his gear versus the Mikasa. So if I was to completely take off Mikasa's gear and we would see the stats here, you guys will see the difference. So let me actually remove her gear here, and I'll show you guys the difference in the stats. Yeah, because she actually had a set of UR gear on right now too, right? So let me switch this back to Lilia, and then we'll remove all this gear right here, and I'll show you guys the difference. So remove equipment. And now if we actually check the associated basic stats, you guys are going to see the difference between Mikasa and this Aaron is going to be very substantial. Look at that. It goes from 8,000 HP from SR Aaron down to 5,800 HP from Mikasa because of the difference in the dupes, even though SR Aaron is a SR unit, right? So that's the first thing we want to talk about when going over links, is that the higher the dupe level, the better the link. And another thing too is that the higher the rarity, the better the stats as well. So if we look at like, an SSR character, right? If we look at Elat, right? She's going to be giving 13k HP, and I assume she does have some gear on, so this might be a little bit skewed, right? Yeah, she has a little bit of gear, but she's going to be giving 13k right there, right? Now if we go to a character like, I guess we could use SR Aaron as an example. I think I'll put gear on him and we'll show you guys the difference, but just as an example, right? So let me go on SR Aaron, and we'll give him like just a standard HP set, right? One of my like really bottom HP sets here, and we'll do kind of like a comparison, right? It's not going to be a perfect comparison, and we're not going to get the exact stat for sure, but we know that we're going to be getting more stats from an SSR character. Look at the difference in stats, guys. So you see 900 attack, 800 attack, 800 defense, 600 defense, around the same HP, right? Because I think we do have the a good amount of HP built. But regardless, you guys see that SSRs do give more stats than SR. So that's another thing to discuss. Now, this also matters for LR characters as well. LR characters get a big stat increase versus regular characters as well when we actually put them as links. The reason why this is because when they become LR, they get a absurd amount of stats, right? If we actually put this melee on HP defense here, my Lost Vein has 75k CC pretty much total, right? Which is broken. So if I'm going to be taking this guy as a link, I'm going to be getting the most amount of stats from my Lost Vein because he is a 6 out of 6 character, he is a LR rarity, and he's just going to be giving the most amount of stats because of his CC being the highest. Now that is the next thing we have to mention, right? The higher CC, the better the link stats. Right, so if we look at, I don't know, what's a character here we could run on tier? Let's just see. Let's just do one of the Merlins, right? We also get the special association effect. If you run this link right here on tier, this is going to be a Merlin link, right? And she does give crit chance. If we put her on as a link and we check her CC, we're going to see that right now when I give her attack crit damage UR gear, she's only going to be at 58k CC, which is not going to equate to too much stats compared to, like, you know, my Eller Lost Vein, which if I had him on a 6 out of 6 you know, attack crit damage set, it would be a lot more stats even in that right? But I have HP, so like right now my Merlin is only going to be giving what, like, look at the attack, it's still lower than an HP Lost Vein. Right, so there is that. One more thing I do want to mention about links before we actually talk about graces and those effects is that links as well do not carry over gear substats, and they only carry over the actual gear stats themselves. So as an example, right, if we look at this Merlin right here, and if I'm running, like, let's say I'm running attack crit damage like I was for this other Merlin, I'm not going to be getting the crit damage effect. You're only going to be getting basic stat effects added to your stats. You're not getting crit damage onto your main unit. So because I have attack crit damage link on this Merlin right here, my tier is not going to be getting another 20% crit chance because this Merlin has attack crit damage, right? Or crit damage, I mean. He's not going to be getting 20% crit damage, right? So that's kind of just another thing that I wanted to mention before we talk about graces, but that is pretty much the general idea for how do you determine which links are going to be good on your account. Now, one more thing that could definitely change this is going to be grace characters, because they are characters that are going to be giving stats as per normal, but they're also going to be bestowing a grace, which pretty much is just an additional passive that the character will have just by running the character as a link. So as an example, the best grace effect that we have in the game right now is going to be Tarmiel, and Tarmiel, the way he works is that if the hero is attacked during the enemy turn, immediately recover 30% of the damage taken, and if damaged twice or more from the skill of the same enemy in the same turn, you will actually block the skill effects of the enemy, which is very, very broken. So Tarmiel himself, even if he's like a lower dupe character, let's say you have your Tarmiel even at like 2, 3 to 6, it could still be more valuable than a 6 out of 6 link, even though you're losing all the stats, just because of the link and what it's actually doing for you with the grace. Right, so that's another thing that I want to mention. So in terms of the actual best links now that I'm going to recommend, guys, it's going to be the LR characters. So you have LR Lost Vein, Escanor, and then Elizabeth in that order because of the CC, you know, and how much CC they have. I think Lost Vein has the most CC, Escanor has the second most, and then Liz has the third. And this is if there's 6 out of 6 to be running as a link, by the way. I'm not going to suggest you run like a 1 out of 6 LR Lost Vein link because it's just not going to be good. You have to pick 6 out of 6 characters when running them for link. So yeah, pretty much what you guys want to do is you want to filter by your characters based on your CC, right? You want to filter by the highest CC characters in your box. So if I'm going to go to my box right here and we actually filter them by combat class and we do descending, this is going to be the best characters that you have as link if they have 6 out of 6. That is going to be the way you go about it. So you check and you see, okay, like my Light Elizabeth, she's going to be what, like 70k CC? Yep, so she's going to be a really good link, right? As long as she's 6 out of 6. You want to make sure the characters are 6 out of 6 before determining if you're going to be using them as link or not. And another thing that I will recommend as well, guys, is if you don't have a lot of 6/6 SSR characters, feel free to use SR characters as links in the meantime. SR characters, even though they have less stats, if they're 6 out of 6, they're still going to give you more of a bonus as a link versus a character that's not 6 out of 6. So no matter what, you want to be picking 6/6 characters, but you want to make sure that it's your highest CC characters that are 6 out of 6 that you're going to be running as links. So that is pretty much the general idea that you want to go with. And then the graces would be the you know, extra effects that you might say, okay, because this character is not necessarily 6 out of 6 but has a good grace effect, you might want to run a character like that. So like, let's say my Mael was only like 3 out of 6, but I wanted to get that extra 20% damage dealt from his grace, then I could run him as a link anyway, right? So there is that. So yeah, guys, that pretty much covers like graces and links and the best links that you guys should be running. So whenever I run teams in Grand Cross, like let's just do an example here where we just put links on my tier and the rest of the team here. So just as an example, this is what we're going to do. We're going to run for tier, I'm actually going to give him Sariel link. Now the reason why is because tier is a DPS. We want him to get some more damage because of Sariel's grace effect that he bestows. So I'm going to run Sariel link. Now for someone like Echidna here, she's kind of like a supportive character. So So because of that, I actually do want her to stay alive as long as possible, and we're going to be running Tarmiel Link on my Echidna right there. And then if we had Freyr in the front here, just as an example, right, we would want to run Mael, because he does have the damage dealt effect, which can actually help the cleave card, even though Sariel, his Link would not help it, right? So that I would run Mael in this situation. But if I didn't have Mael 6 out of 6, and I'm like, okay, I would rather have a 6 out of 6 character for extra stats, I'm gonna put on LR Lost Vein, because he's just gonna give more stats total than my Mael, because he's just a higher CC character. And then let's say for the backline character, I'm just gonna put LR Escanor, because he's my second highest character CC wise that can give the most stats as a Link. And that is pretty much how I differentiate my Links, guys, without kind of thinking too much about the like special association effects. There are some times where I'm like, okay, you know, it might be a good idea to run like crit chance. Like if I'm running like let me see, do I have an LR Escanor team here? I do not. But like, let's say I was running like LR Escanor, right? I would want to run like Merlin Link, because you do get crit chance and you get an extra 1000 CC. So if that's going to help you at all, and you want to get that, you know, that combat class association effect because they're a combined attack Link, I would actually give this Merlin to Escanor versus like a Sariel Link, right? Because I want that extra crit chance and I want the extra 1000 CC. So that pretty much covers like everything you guys need to know about Links and the best Link recommendations that I have. So it really does depend on your box and what characters you have built, but you want to make sure that you filter by combat class descending, and then filter by ultimate move levels, and have them level max. That is the characters that you guys should be running Link on your updated characters, and that's how you want to go about it. So I hope you guys do enjoy the video. That's pretty much it, man, and we're gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace out and have a great rest of your day, guys. See you later, man.